に孫と遊びに行くおばあちゃんの感覚だもん。
おばあちゃんって言ったな。クソババアに続いて2度目だ。3度目はないか。
He was just used as a bait because he called her a hag in the first season. Are you out of your mind? Stark, you're going to get... Well, he's gonna be used as bait again. I don't know for what. Hello, comrades. Welcome back. This is detectfanive, and today we are going to be watching Frieren Season 2, Episode 3, Somewhere She'd Like. But before we do, let's talk about the previous episode, 2. The Hero of the South. 29 years after Himmel's death, they are in Fable Village that's located in the Northern Lands. They get to have the ability to scratch their back if they clean a statue. But surprisingly, this is not Himmel. This is the Hero of the South. And he deserves that title because he has made an opening for Himmel and the others to defeat the Demon King because he had the ability to see into the future. But unfortunately for him, he knew that he would die because the Demon King also could see into the future 1,000 years later, which is probably why he was very hard to go up against. But now he's dead, thanks to the Hero of the South making an opening and for Kamel and the others into defeating the Demon King. But now, back into the present, they go to another location, which is the Graph Dot. And Frieren, she seems to want to go really fast to get out of there because she doesn't like King. This particular king can be pushy, except this is more so for the great-grandfather that was alive because he had no location as to where this demon was with the demon sword that gone missing, and was also trying to put them in the dungeon if they did not get the demon sword. So Himmel and the others had to basically be forced to finding this demon sword. And now in the present, she's also being asked to get the demon sword, and she feels obligated for 2 reasons. 1, she does not want that situation to happen again, and 2, because she wants to do this for Himmel's sake, otherwise his efforts goes to waste. So, Frieren, Stark, and Fern are lucky that they have the location of where they can find this demon. And this demon pretends to be a priest and tells them to pray for these unfortunate souls. Except the only problem is Frieren quickly attacks the ground because she already knew that the priest is the demon and that the people that are not in the ground is because she took advantage of their faith by praying and attacking them and then eating them. So Fern, Frieren, and Stark all attacked the demon and they defeated it and they brought the demon sword back to the kingdom. And it may seem like, sure, part of the reason is because it may look good, like a prized possession of some sort for the nobles, but it's also because it would be really bad if it got in the wrong hands of a certain demon of some sort. And I would be more concerned if it went to one of the 7 Sage of Destruction, because I know 3 of them been defeated by the South of the Hero, 2 of them been defeated by Frieren, by Himmel and the others, and then the other 2 ran away, which one of them was Aura, which she got defeated by Frieren. So now there's only 1 more that is out there. So it could be a problem if he did get that demon sword. But luckily it's safe for now, and it's only for the higher ups to protect it because demons can be very persuasive, and even Stark and Fern understand that this is like the demons can be persuasive and have asked Frieren to help them again if in the future if that ever happens again. which she's willing to, but the price has to be a grimoire or something in return. A grimoire. And the grimoire that she has got from the king is a spell to turn red apples into green. And I can't wait to see what other grimoire ability she will have by helping people in other locations. So, let's get into the episode. Somewhere she'd like. Ooh. 29 years after the death of Hamel, the hero, in the it was mountains located in the northern lands.
なあフリーレン、もうだいぶ歩いたぜ。
Well,
村はまだ
yeah,
かよ。
takes a while.
確かここら辺のはずなんだけど。
小屋が見えてきましたね。
一
Oh
軒だけか。
no.
お兄ちゃん待って。
Did the demons destroy the village?
村ならもう30年も前に廃村になりました。温泉が枯れて冒険者も立ち寄らなくなりましてね。
Sad.
残念ですね。フリーレン様。
次の町までどのくらいなんだ？
1週間くらいかな。
この近くに温泉はないのかよ。
祖父に聞いた話なのですが、裏手の山には秘湯があると言っていました。
Ooh?
これまた30年以上も前の話ですが。
エトバスさんの人だね。それこそ残っているかどうか相当な山奥だからね。素直に次の
どこかで聞いたことがあるような。あ、思い出した。フリーレン、俺行ってみたいかな。エトバスさんの人。
もうね、シュタルク。あそこは人って言っても労力に見合わないと思うよ。
But it's an
せっかくここまで来たんだ
adventure.
から行ってみようぜ。
まあいいか。シュタルクが行きたいって言うのなら行こうか。
Man, Stark is just popular everywhere he goes. Oh, it's so cute. What is he telling a story for? What story is he telling? Hey, at least he could defeat a boar. The only thing he needs to do is learn how to do a big fish.
フリーレン様。なんだかあまり乗り気じゃないようにます。
Really?
まあね、ヒンメルたちとも人を目指してエトバスさんをさまよったからね。
Oh,
もう帰
interesting.
りたい。
俺も。
ヒンメルは珍しい場所とかは隅々まで探索しないと気が済まない性格だったからね。
ちょっとだけだって言ったじゃないですか。
絶対何かあるんだって。僕の直感がそう言ってる。
だから言ったのに。
もう引き返せんぞ。
Nope.
厄介な魔物の縄張りを抜けないとたどり着けない。早速お出ましか。
Okay, three-headed
Ryuka.
dragon.
久しぶりだな。
あれは竜じゃない。ど
What?
ちらかというとトカゲなんかに近いタイプの魔
Oh,
物だよ。
well, okay.
トカゲ。
Lizard, that is
立
massive.
っているようですね。
あの三つ首は同時に切り落とさないとすぐに再生する。
What?
かよ。
Okay, this is a wish for you.
シュタルク走って。
What?
いい作戦があるんだ。
それってど、
Oh, interesting.
左右に分かれて全ての首を同時に狙うよ。
はい。
Okay.
先ほどおっしゃっていたいい作戦って。
魔物がシュタルクを襲っている隙に攻撃するんだ。
それって
Well, he did call her a hag. Can you blame her?
ただのおとりじゃねえか。
Mm-hmm.
二人ともよく頑張ったね。
Man, how long is she gonna hold that grudge?
よう
Yeah,
やく着いたな。
the hiking was
大変
probably
でしたね。
very steep.
ね。次の町を目指した方がマシだったでしょ。
Oh? Come on, use your
Ah, sorry,
ability to steepen it.
これじゃあ足湯ですね。
だから割に合わないって言ったんだ
Oh,
よ。
but it is so worth it.
でもいいんじゃねえか。
Mm-hmm. It felt relaxing.
これならみんな一緒に入れる。
Look at the sunset.
そうだね。
Aww.
ところでシュタルク様はどうしてここに来たいと言ったのですか？
師匠から聞いていたんだよ。
エトバスさんの人はまさかの足湯だった。とても労力と割に合わん。実にくだらない冒険だが、不思議なものでな。仲間と共にしたくだらない冒険は、どれもかけがえのない記憶として残っている。
Aww. I'm gonna cry.
俺はあの景色が忘れられん。
シュタルク様はご存知だったんですね。
きっと師匠と同じ景色が見たかったんだ。
Congrats, Stark, you
確
did
かに
it.
いい景色だ。
Yeah, going down at night time. Oh!
帰り道も過酷ですね。
Yeah, at night time too. What were you thinking?
やっぱり労力と割に合わないかも。
29 years after the death of Hamel the hero, in the fortress city of Hype, I'm gonna call it Hype. Hype, located in the northern lands. Cool. Oh, what a relaxing moment. Yes.
お嬢ちゃん、若いのに温泉が好きなのね。
Ooh, I
フリー
kind
レ
of
ン様
like the
この
location.
町に着いてからずっと温泉に入り浸りですね。あと2日は滞在するそうですよ。
俺は武器屋にでも行くか。斧を研いでもらわないと。
だから私、明日暇なんですけど。
She asking for a date.
構ってください。本当に気が利きませんね。
Oh my
Stark
goodness,
様。
did she?
な
She
ん
was
だ
so
よ。そんな言い
straightforward.
方しなくたっていいだろ。
Dude, Stark's so oblivious.
た
It's
まに
so
は仕
funny.
返ししてやるか。
Time
そ
for
んな
some
に構ってほしい
payback.
なら明日デートしようぜ。あ、これやばいパターンだ。死んだな。
No, you just made her heart beat, probably.
わかりました。では明日。
She's leaving the room. She's like, holy crap, I need to go find a dress or something.
。
He's scared. He's scared.
ほん。
He's so scared. Feels like he might die.
何この反応。
Oh my goodness. Hey, sea salt. I was just thinking of Kingdom Hearts when I saw that ice cream. He's so scared.
リー
Go
ダ
on,
ー
show us some action.
正気か？
だよな。
He-
無理な相談
He
して
has
ごめ
lost his
ん。
mind.
何も無理とは言っていないよ。私はお姉さんだからね。
Mm-hmm.
乙女心もバッチリだよ。
フリーレン、俺にデートしようって言われたらどう思う？
シュタルクも大人になったね。
Mm-hmm.
嬉しいからご飯おごっちゃうかも。
やっぱり参考にな
Oh,
ら
that's
ね
so cool.
え。完全に孫と遊びに行くおばあちゃんの感覚だもん。
おばあちゃんって言ったな。 クソババアに続いて2度目だ。3度目はないか。
Has he learned nothing? He was just used as a bait because he called her a hag in the first season. Are you out of your mind? Stark, you're going to get... Well, he's gonna be used as bait again. I don't know for what. Oh my goodness. Boy.
からね。
何そのカウント怖い。ちなみに3度目はどうなるんですか？
泣きわめく。癇癪を起こした私は怖いよ。勇者ヒンメルでさえ恐れをおののいた。
Mel, what did you do to make her cry like this?
3日3晩ずっと泣いてる。
怖い。
ま、シュタルクにデリカシーがないことは分かったかな。それでフェルンとデートするの？
やっぱなしって言える雰囲気じゃないからね。だからフェルンが好きそうな場所とか聞きたくて。
Oh?
いや、なんでもない。聞いた俺が。
下見に行こうか。
え？
まずは市場で何か食べさせた方がいい。お腹が空くと機嫌が悪くなるから。
Yeah, and find him some clothes while you're at it.
こういう綺麗なものが置いてあるお店なんかも喜ぶと思うよ。フェルンは焼き菓子が好きだけど、気分によって変わることもあるから。
Aww.
あとは、
I love that she was paying attention to Berto so much.
こういう物静かな広場も。
なんだよ、フェルンのことよく知ってんじゃねえか。
Of course she
すごいな、フ
does.
リーレン。
いや、
Cares
何も知
for
らないよ。
Bird.
すごいのはハイターなんだ。ことあるごとにハイターはフェルンの好みを話していたからね。お腹が空くと不機嫌になるのも、
Yeah, but you're paying
つまみ食いが好きなのも、
attention. That's what
綺麗
matters.
なものが好きなのも、気分によって好みが変わるのも、どれも全部ハイターが教えてくれた。ハイターは私にフェルンの親代わりになることを望んでいたみたいだけれども、私は結局あの子の好きなものをほとんど見つけられなかった。
You did everything right. She still keeps that hair accessory that you gave her.
でもこうしてちゃんと覚えているじゃねえか。
That's what I'm saying. You pay
フリー
attention.
レンは多分ちゃんと親をやれてるよ。
Aww.
そういえば旅に出て初めてフェルンの誕生日を祝ったのもこんなところだったっけ。たまにはシュタルクもいいことを言うね。
だろ？
Yeah, better than calling her a hag and... Aww.
あり
She
がと
took...
う。
Yeah, she took the grandma off. It wasn't as harsh as the hag part. She asking... She's gonna let her know that Star gassed her out?
フリーレン様、デートに誘われてしまいました。どうすれば。
That's so cute.
こっちもか。いや、なんでもないよ。
フリーレン様はデートをしたことはありますか？
あるよ。
ですよね。
She says she
あ
has.
るんですか？
Yeah, with Himmel.
デートって誰と何をされたのですか？
ヒンメルと一緒に迷い猫探しに出かけた。魔道具店の店主に頼まれて
That's a
ね。
date.
それって依頼をこなしただけですよね。それはデートと呼べるのでしょうか？
あのね、フェルン。気心の知れた異性と二人きりで出かけたら、それはデートになるんだよ。って先生が言ってた。
I mean,
そういえば。
you might be looking at the moon too. Cute episode. A lovely, beautiful, wholesome episode. So, 29 years after Himmel's death, they went to Itoi's mountains for the hot springs, except the unfortunate part is that the village has been abandoned for 30 years. So there is no hot springs, but there's been rumors by his grandfather, I believe, is what he mentioned, that 30 years ago, that there was a hidden hot spring. And which was surprising that Frieren said that they should just go to the next town over, which will take a week of them traveling over there, rather than going to the mountains to go to the hot springs. I didn't even register it, but I should have, because she wanted to get out of there because it was probably not a hot spring. But I now know that in the future. I'm surprised I could sometimes pick it up and then sometimes I don't. But like, for instance, the previous episode when she was trying to avoid someone. And now she's trying to avoid this situation, but because Stark was thinking about it, the Etoise mountains and that specific part, I didn't know if I missed something or what happened, but I should have known it was because Eisen was talking to Stark about his past, because as ridiculous as his adventures was, he always loved those moments with his former parties, and he wouldn't trade that for anything because those were fond memories to him. So that's part of the reason why they went up to the mountains, is because Stark wanted to get that experience that his master Eisen has experienced. So that was really sweet. They go up the mountains, and I love the little scenes that always shows like these little scenes of their adventure of going up the mountains. And I love how, like, where Stark was just telling a story and just during the camp when they're camping, because he's like expressing his hands as if he's telling a story. And then I also love that he could defeat a boar or a creature of some sort, but he can't really fish for like big fish, which is why I'm like, he'll eventually get it. I know he can. I think it's just also funny because I'm like, he could defeat a big creature, but he can't fish for a big fish. But that's okay, because I love his character, and he's really sweet and very sensitive. Himmel and the others, like their former parties, I just love seeing their flashbacks, because like Frieren, she always loves learning a new ability of magic, a grimoire, but like more so of what's useful rather than like a cool ability. I mean, I think it's a cool ability to be able to like do a lot of things, scratching your own back or turning a red apple into a green apple. It may be dumb, but I think it's kind of funny. Or like the last season ago, she was also having flashbacks, which I still remember because I thought interested, when she can make some ice shaving, but she didn't know how to do the syrup for it, like different flavors for it. And I was like, ooh, they're just always so fun. And then Fern picks up on this too, because the last season from season 1, I think it was episode 28, 27, but she can gain an ability of what she wanted, and she had the ability to clean her clothes. It may be funny, but I'm like, that is very useful for day-to-day life. And that's the thing I like about this series, is because it's more so what's useful to use for your day-to-day life, of the adventures, the things they do. And I just love how it feels like you can connect with these characters, because it is useful. There's times I wish there was magic. Sometimes, like when I watch like shows and they overdo magic, okay, dude, yeah, you have a fire ability, you have ice powers, awesome. But I love how like Frieren goes into like what's useful to their adventures, but also letting us think like, wow, magic is so beautiful because that was real. It would be so amazing to have that ability. Things are really useful nowadays. compared to like our ancestors. And I appreciate our ancestors for what they've done, because if they haven't been where they've been, we wouldn't have this opportunity of having all these things that we have nowadays. So yeah, I appreciate the show for that reason. Anyways, getting back on track. Where was I? I love how Kamel, he's just wanting to go every nook and cranny. The thing I love about Hamel and the others in the past, Frieren's former party, is that Frieren was always into like looking for the Grimoire, because she's always wanting to use useful ability for their adventure. And then Himmel just loves the adventure. It may be like ridiculous, as Eisen said, but Kamel just loves the idea of just looking at every corner, because there's something that they will always have something to remember, or because it's always fun to look at every section of the map. Hyder is always drinking, so he's pretty funny. And then he does remind me similar to a character like Zoro when it comes to drinking. It's just how it is. But Eisen, I love Eisen a lot, because he's so strong, but he also admits that he's scared at times. I feel like that's such a good message for everyone. So I do love seeing the former parties time and time again. And I thought there were 3-headed dragons, but it was 3-headed lizards. I was like, well, okay, dang, those are massive lizards. But they had to kill it. They had to destroy it all at once, because if they destroy one of the head, it just regenerates, which would be a problem. So I thought Stark was going to have to handle it, and he was even prepared to do so. And then Frieren was just like, no, we can handle it. You just run. And so when he ran off, the lizards were going after Stark, and Frieren and Fern were talking about what they should do to attack the enemy. So they had to go left and right to attack the 3-headed lizards, and they want to do it like in a few attempts as possible, while it is trying to attack Stark. And I get the feeling that Frieren only did that because she still has a grudge with Stark for calling her an old hag from season 1. So that was pretty funny. But yeah, this is why you don't be calling elf old. Doesn't matter what age they are. Never tell someone they're old. Anyways, yeah, that was pretty funny. But they did eventually get up to the mountains, even though it was steep. But that's part of the journey, is going up to the mountains and hiking, and it's steep, but they made it. And it wasn't the hot springs, it was rather a foot bath. And it got me all teary-eyed, because it was such a beautiful journey for them to come to this moment. And that's when Stark was talking about how much Eisen was talking about these moments with him, because sure, he thought how ridiculous it was that they went all the way up there to the mountains only for it to be a foot bath rather than a hot spring. But as ridiculous as the adventures was, he knew his master wouldn't trade those memories for anything. And I love that Stark is always like, he does want to see what his master has seen, so that he can share that moment with Eisen when he comes back, because that's part of the reason he's going on this journey. Because from season 1, he did say that he wants to go on this journey so that he can tell his master about his journey. Because the thing I love is that Eisen's always telling him his story, and Stark wants to be the one to tell him his story from his adventures that he has. But he's also with Fern and Frieren because just from this season, he felt like he was a coward, but because these two believed in him, he felt that he was capable. Well, and he tried to do his best not to be so afraid. And we see throughout the episode, he's building a little bit of more confidence than he has in season 1. Stark wants them to rely on them because they're always there for him and he wants to do so in return. And I love that. Yeah, I got teary-eyed for the foot bath because it was showing their perspective and then it was showing a flashback perspective of Hamel and the others when they had their foot bath as well. And it was just a beautiful moment because with all their effort, they get to see something so beautiful at the end. But then they had to come back down at nighttime. And I love that it shows that perspective because you may see something beautiful with all your effort, but at the end of the day, there's times you're so annoyed with the situation. I love that. So that was beautiful. And now they go onto their journey to the fortress of Hype, where they enjoy the hot springs. But I guess Frieren is enjoying it a little bit more than Fern and Stark. And oh, I love Fern. She's very straightforward, I feel like. But she also throws some hints. So poor Stark is oblivious at times. But he said he might just have to go to the shop, even though Fern just mentioned she will have nothing to do the next day. And Stark was like, okay, well, tomorrow I'm just gonna go to the weaponry shop. And she was just like, but I just said I'm not gonna do anything. And then she was blunt and she's like, pay attention to me. And then called Stark insensitive. And I feel like Stark does get sensitive at times with that because it's not what he's trying to do. And he doesn't understand why Fern's mean, which I do feel bad because he's trying. He's just not. He doesn't click the hints. So then he decided that he wanted to do payback. He's like, if you're so desperate for attention, then go on a date with me tomorrow. And she just left. And I felt so bad for Stark because she didn't even respond a yes or a no. She just left. And I'm over here like, oh gosh. Stark over here is worried sick because in his head, this is payback. And he's like, crap, she's gonna hit me. She just left. In his head, he's like, what should I do? What should I say? What am I gonna do with this date? Because he didn't know if she wanted to go on this date. He didn't even know if this was gonna work or what she was thinking. His mind was going in circles, and I did feel bad for him because I was worried. You were so blunt before. Why didn't you just tell him that you would go on this date? But either way, he just didn't know what to do. So when he asked Frieren was really proud of Stark for becoming a fine man. But I do love that she did mention before, you're asking me, are you out of your mind? But no, he did not learn his lesson. A grandma is hanging out with a grandson. She got offended, and that was his second offense. And on the third offense, her tantrum can be very scary that even Kamel, the hero, and the others tremble with fear. And that's because she has been crying for 3 days, which in a way is kind of terrifying because what are you to do with that? I don't even know. But yeah, that was pretty bad. But Frieren understands that he's entirely lacking in tact and sensitivity, so she decided to help him out by showing him around town of what Fern might like. And she points out the snacks that they could get on the way. And then also she loves beautiful items, so they could go over there and then also look into the baked goods. And depending on her mood, that's probably the one he wants to get. But hopefully Fern doesn't decide to have Stark figure out what that is, because I would feel bad for him if he has to figure that for what baked goods she should have. And I don't think Fern knows that far. So he's kind of on his own with that part. But then there's the Quiet Plaza. And I love how beautiful that scenery is. And I just love that was the one particular thing that wasn't from Hyder that Frieren knew that she would love, because that was for her birthday. Because Frieren went into a Quiet Plaza for Fern's birthday when she gave her a hair accessory for her birthday, because it was her special day. And I thought that was so sweet. And Stark was impressed that she had this all together. And she said no, Hyder mentioned the food that she loves and the beautiful items that she likes and stuff. And I was saying this, but I was like, wow, she's actually paying attention to Ferda. I love that. And she feels like she failed as a parent. But Stark even said that she isn't failing Fern because she does pay attention to these things that matter. And because of that, he got the second offense knocked off to 1. And I'm pretty sure that second offense was the grandma, because that wasn't as harsh as the hag. So, But then Fern went up to Frieren and she said that I was going to go on a date. And I thought that was so cute. And Fern asked if Frieren's ever been on a date. And she said she has, with Himmel, when they went to go look for a lost cat. And Fern was trying to figure out what that meant. And she's like, that's not a date. And Frieren said, when 2 close friends of opposing sex are alone, that is considered a date. And that's basically what her master said. But I love the expression she gave to Fern, because I was like, wow, she's just, I'm knowledgeable here, okay? I know what I'm saying. No, but I love that. And then she also said that she went on a date with Sign because she was thinking of that she also went alone with him. Fern was done with this conversation. So she's like, okay, whatever. And she goes to sleep, but then she hasn't slept because she believes she's nervous, because she has water and is looking up in the moon. And I believe Stark is also looking up at the moon, wondering what the heck he should do to make sure that this date is perfect. At least I hope so. And I hope he has something to wear, because I do remember on her birthday he was wearing that same outfit. So I'm really hoping I kind of doubt he's gonna have that outfit change, because Frieren is not very good at that part. And Fern is not gonna tell him that, because that is kind of silly. Oh gosh. I think Stark might be screwed, because I think Fern's gonna be she's gonna look really good for her date, and then Stark is probably gonna wear the same clothes. Please no. Please don't let that happen. Anyways, that's it. I love you, comrades. Have a wonderful, beautiful, and an amazing day. Not kidding. Love you, comrades. Bye!